Welcome to a new video in my home automation series. I have a video security system at home which contains quite a few different cameras. Some of them are wireless, some of them are wired, and also I have a network recorder which is recording all these cameras 24/7. And I think it does very well the video security part of this job, as in if something happens, I can always, go to the network recorder. I can, go back to the footage, see what has happened. I can download the footage if I need to save it and send it to somebody as an evidence. But it is actually missing I think the surveillance part of it, because I always thought it would be so nice if I would have a device which also has a screen, or I can buy a screen where I can place it somewhere where I want to look at this footage. For example, me, I'm, working from home. I'm sitting from my, from a small study. So it would be an ideal location to look at some of the cameras which are looking at outside, so I can see what's happening. Or let's say you can place it in the kitchen, and then when the doorbell rings, then you can do that. And even for some of the doorbell cameras, you cannot really just buy a separate screen, even as an option. So when I find this Anki VTL300 product, which contains 2 or 4 wireless cameras and also a screen, I thought, well, this is something which is more akin to the, the surveillance part, where let's say you don't want the fanciest, the night vision, the 4K cameras. You want something sort of like a basic, but you want a screen so you can instantly see what is happening. And I think this particular product does this function very, very well. And to be honest, I would even recommend you that even if you have video surveillance or a video security system, maybe also get this and run it as a separate system, because the screen itself is so very well integrated into this whole surveillance aspect. So if the cameras detect a motion, if it detects a person, then the screen automatically turns on. It shows the camera which detected the motion, and then once the motion is moved away or left the frame of the camera, then it shows you like a summary page where it shows all of your camera, let's say 2 or 4. So you have a quick overview of what's happening in all of these cameras. And after some time, the screen goes back to sleep. It either shows the clock, the date and the time, or it just goes completely blank. And again, when another motion happens, then the camera comes on. And I just find it so easy and so useful to see. I mean, I'm feeling like a grandma who used to be in the, in the windows all day and just looking at the hood, making sure that everyone is all right. The doctor is not coming too many times to, the opposite neighbor. Everything is fine. And I'm starting to like it. So I was, some of these products, I mean, I do have a lot of security cameras. So when I asked for this product for review, I thought I'm going to review it. I'm going to put it apart. Maybe if I have somebody who needs some cameras, I'm just going to give it to him. But actually, I'm thinking to keep this. And because that screen is so useful. I get packages, the mail comes, or food delivery comes so many times, and I can just already see if a car is stopped behind my gates. I can go out and I can pick up the package, and of course I can also see if somebody is coming. I can see before they come into the door. So I'm thinking that this product would be ideal also for elderly people who are like, let's say you are sitting in your sofa in your living room, but you still want to keep an eye on what's happening outside. If somebody is coming, you don't necessarily have to get up to open the door, but just like look at the screen. You can also do two-way audio, so you can talk to the other person if, let's say, you have mobility issues and you don't necessarily want to wake up for every single time somebody rings the doorbell. So I think this is a really good one, and I wish there would be more of these sort of like screen products that can be purchased as an add-on to existing security cameras, doorbell cameras. So I don't want to take up my phone, open the app, and then wait for the live stream to come in. I just look at the screen, which is right in front of me. The feed is already there, and then after a couple of minutes it goes to blank, and that's it. Perfect solution. And before I do the review, let me actually show you this small, the website as well. So as I said, it's called the WTL300. So these are 3 megapixel cameras. As I said, these wouldn't be your best quality cameras, and obviously they are wireless, but they have, two-way audio, they have a night vision, and again, if you are specifically using the screen itself, I mean, they have ample amount of resolution for that screen. So I have no issues seeing, enough detail on that small, on that 7-inch screen whenever the screen comes to life when, motion is detected. So I think for this particular purpose, these are really good cameras. And you have the option to choose between, 2 and 4 cameras. Obviously, the price changes. Oh, it doesn't update the price. It did update the price a couple of seconds ago. Oh yeah, 179 or 180 and then 130, depending on whether you want 2 or 4 cameras. And just quickly going to scroll through this. So as I said, you can have the screen to show a clock or just to turn off, which you probably have seen on the previous footage already. It supports night vision. Of course, it has an app, so all the functionality works in an app. You can do two-way audio through the app as well, and of course, the app will send you notifications as well. There is a built-in recorder in the screen which records your footage, and you can hook it up with voice assistant as well, and you can use those screens to show the video. But again, I just find it more just useful that you don't even have to do a wake word or ask Alexa or Google to do anything. You just screen is there, it automatically turns on, and it goes away once no motion is detected. So let me show you around the different products that you get this with this kit. Of course, I have one camera here, but the other camera is installed. It was just easier to get this one in for the review. You can already see that it's mounted to this post, which I use for temporary mounting. But let me do the the main unit first. So it's a 7-inch screen, and of course it has some stands, and the stand has a little bit of like a hinge, so you can put it down and then you can hinge it back a little and forward, so you can just customize the location and the angle how you want it. On this unit, there isn't a lot happening, so there is a power socket. So you get a power adapter for the display, you get a power adapter for each of the cameras. You have some, opening here where you find the micro SD card, which was installed in my unit, and it wasn't really clear if it comes with a micro SD card or I just got a micro SD card, but that's where you put it. So this is where it's going to store all the files. And you have a USB. So if you want to save any of your recordings, then you can put flash drive here, and then you can save the recordings from the screen. I showed you where the button is. But other than that, you just connect it to power and you're ready to go. You have 2 antennas on the top. So one is probably communicating with the cameras and the other one is communicating with your home Wi-Fi. And that's it. There is nothing else on it, and there is nothing else needs to be on it, to be honest. The cameras are also very simple affair. So you see you have obviously the camera, a hole for the infrared LED, there is a hole for the microphone, you have some grills at the bottom of them. So obviously, oh no, sorry, the grill is here, that's where the sound comes out. And you have a fairly big antenna here, and you have this mount that you can screw down in 3 places, and you can loosen up this in order to tilt the cameras. You can loosen up that collar as well to rotate the cameras, and you can loosen up that screw as well in order to just again, both of them are for rotating and rolling the camera. And on the camera itself, you have these 2 connections. So you have a connection for the power adapter, and you have also this connection with just a button. So I think this is the reset button. It has a cap. I never had to press the reset button, and probably you don't have to use it either. I mean, if there is no reason to reset these cameras. And before I show you the product, let me just address 2 potential issues that you have to keep aware. So this display unit or the central unit and the cameras communicate over Wi-Fi. So 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi, which means that there is obviously some range limitation with these cameras. So the cameras have quite big, antennas, but again, I think it's, the usual 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi range. So let's say you have, it's pretty much the same range what you would get with, with the phone and your router. So if you have a really large garden or you want this unit to be placed on the opposite side of the house as where the cameras are going to be, maybe it's going to be out of reach from the cameras. So definitely keep that in mind. There is no options for repeaters or anything like that, so it has to be, this unit has to be within the range of the cameras, otherwise it's not going to work. And of course it seems that this is a closed systems. So I had other N-key cameras and I have other cameras from other brands as well, and none of them work with this. So you have to work with the 2 cameras or the 4 cameras that are provided. You can't really combine other cameras like doorbell cameras to this system, which is a little bit unfortunate. So this is why I said in the beginning that you might want to consider this as a completely standalone system to your existing, like home security or video surveillance system. Also, I have a bit of a rough with Anki because I have reviewed so many Anki products, and I think this is probably the 5th applications that they have for this. So I had like Anki Vision, My Anki, Vico Home, and now this application for this product is called the Anki site. So again, one more app. I would have liked if this works with all my other Anki cameras, but unfortunately it doesn't. But having said that, I did install the app. I'm going to show you the app, but since I installed, I just never used it because the screen is here. So I'm going to show you how you operate the device with the screen itself. Ignore that box just to prop up the screen itself. So you have, well, everything is a touch screen. So if it goes into the screensaver mode, if it turns off the screen, then you can just touch it, and then basically the screen comes back. And here you have a couple of buttons. You can have 2 different screens, or basically 2 different views. You can have 4 cameras or you can have 2 cameras. I obviously have 2 cameras, so it works for me like that. I mean, you get some black bars because it can handle 4 cameras. You also have the option to turn on the audio. What is interesting is that I can turn on the audio, and then if the screen goes to sleep and when it comes back muted. I'm not sure where that is. Even if I change the sound settings, it will always be muted. I mean, that's fine. You can also like double click on one of the, oh, now it's working. So you can also double click in one of the screens, then it comes to full screen. And if you double click again, then it goes back to, half, well, basically the default view. And also you can do audio as well. So if you press that microphone button, then you can initiate the 2-way audio and you can start speaking. You have options to cycle the screen as well, and then do movements, but these cameras don't support PTZ, or so you can't really use this option. And to be honest, I haven't seen any cameras that can do panning, so I'm not sure why this is included. And you can zoom in as well and cycle through the cameras, but to be honest, I don't really use those options. I just use basically this main view. And again, I just like the fact that the screen works automatically, so I don't really have to touch it. Just place it somewhere where you can see it, and then that's it. And in terms of the settings, I'm going to show you this match code first, because this is where you want to come first time when you install the camera. So once you unbox, you just plug everything in, and then you can come to this match code and you click on this match code button here. And that's basically just going to scan the Wi-Fi network, well, the Wi-Fi network that it creates, and it's going to, find the cameras. So I would suggest that initially you just place the camera close to the display so you can find the cameras. It takes like 10-20 seconds to find the camera. Well, of course, for me, found 2 cameras. If you have 4 cameras, then it's going to find 4 cameras. And that's the initial setup. So once this is done, it's, the cameras are linked to the display. And then even if you power off, this is going to work. They would automatically recognize the cameras. The recording starts as well. So that's the only thing you need to do to get started. So we have the video playback option. So this is where you can select the calendar, let's say, yesterday, and then you can select one of the cameras, and then you can, whenever you change the cameras, the calendar resets. But then, you can look at the footage, and here you can also, filter on, so this is when I think we were leaving yesterday. So you can see the different motion events, and you can just select the different time and day, and it's going to show you the motion events, so you can just easily jump to one of these scenes. So I think the user interface is very good. It's very easy to find footage, and also you can lock certain footages, you can delete them, and you can export them to a memory stick. So you just plug in the memory stick like a USB drive, and then you can export. So the playback functionality, I think, is really good. The next one is the system setup. So here you have a couple of things. You can have the language. Actually, let me show you. It comes in a few different languages. Yep. And then you have the time setup. So this is where you find the setup, the time zone. They don't seem to support summertime. So for example, I am in CET, which is GMT +1, but I had to set it to GMT +2, otherwise the time is going to be off. So it's going to be an annoying, changing this time zone whenever the clock changes, but that's it. You have wireless internet, so this is where you set up your the internet connection, because again, you can just use it as like a standalone solution. You connect the cameras, and this device is not connected to Wi-Fi. In that case, you won't be able to use your mobile app, but still it records, it does the whole thing. So again, if you want to install it in a place where there is no internet connection, it's absolutely fine. It's going to work as a standalone system. You can also change the wireless channel if you want to do that. And then you have a couple of options. Enable the audio recording on the cameras, and then enable the Alexa integration from here, which I don't have, so I cannot really set. You can do the I think this volume setup is the default volume that comes in once the motion is detected. Auto close, if you set it to disabled, then the screensaver, which is the time and the day, comes on. If you set it to, let's say, 30 seconds, 1 minute, then it's going to turn off the screen completely. So you might want to do that. And that's the screensaver. So either you have either the screensaver comes on, or the auto close just shuts the screen off. So that's the system setup. It's not complicated. Now it's the recording setup. So you have you can have different schedules, and this is the default schedule. So the first schedule has all the channels enabled, and it's basically, as you can see, every day is enabled and 24/7 is enabled. And it says that it only records a motion. So it records whenever motion is detected, and that records 24/7. So as you can see, you can do a lot of configuration here. You can, for example, create if you set it to timer, it just means that within that time window, it's going to record continuously. So, and you have 4 of these, schedules. So you can set, let's say, one period of the day when it's going to record continuously, and in other periods, it's only going to record motion. And yeah, that's it. And yeah, you can format the SD card here. And then override just means that if the storage is full, it's going to override the oldest recording. Match code we have already seen in the beginning. There is an ARM setup. So here, motion detection full screen. So that's, again, it's enabled by default. That's the functionality which brings the screen back on whenever its motion is detected. I would definitely leave it. I think that's the whole point of this tool. You can also create or configure email. So it will send you an email when motion is detected. No, I don't use that. And then you can select for all channels how it behaves when motion is detected. So we have well, first of all, if you want motion to be detected, so any motion. And to be honest, I find that even the motion detection works very well. So I can see cars passing by, which is good. Sometimes the screen turns on when nothing really happens. Maybe just the wind is blowing too much leaves or branches, but it's not that often. So I would leave the motion on. And also on the smart detection, you have 2 options. Human body means that there is a human, like a full figure human detected, and body region, if you enable that, that also detects whenever it only sees an arm or a face. So maybe if you have a camera very close to a location, you want to enable the body region, but I've been using the human body and the motion detection, and I think the results are perfect. So I haven't really changed that. And whenever any of these detect anything, oops, then you have a couple of options. So you have an op alarm, which is going to send an alarm to the mobile app. I haven't enabled that. You can set up an email notification if you have set up email notification. Oops, second screen. You can do the NVR siren, which means that this screen is going to play an alarm sound, like a beeping sound, quite annoying to be honest. And you can also do the camera siren when the camera is going to do some beeping. And you also have sensitivity, you have the infrared, how you can, you want to use the infrared light. And you can also, restrict the detection to certain area of the camera and, the image. And you also have the video cover, which is, again, you can blank out some of the parts of the video for privacy reason. And again, you can change all these settings for every single camera independently. So again, very comprehensive setup. I do like it. It's a lot of fine tuning is allowed. And then lastly, you have the system stuff. So you have some system info. So you can access it by clicking on this QR code. So you scan this QR code in order to download the mobile app. It just basically takes you to either the iOS store or the Apple or the Google store for the application that you want to install. And then once you install it and you want to add a camera, you scan this QR code in order to add the unit to your mobile app account. And yeah, you can do factory reset, password change, upgrade. The upgrade only works from the USB stick, and I haven't done an upgrade. So that's it. And these are all the options that you get on this camera. So it's very easy. Again, I think I have changed probably the timeouts, but then everything else I left on default. So whatever you see, how the camera and the display works and the recordings are all on the default settings. So I think the factory default settings are pretty good already, and I didn't feel the need to change any of them. And this is the mobile application that I mentioned. So this is called the N-Key site. And I mean, to be honest, it works like any of the mobile surveillance companion applications. It also includes the store, so you can purchase products here. And of course, you download the application using the link that I showed you before, and then you create an account, you log in, and then you click on the plus button, and you can do scan to add, and then you scan that second QR code, which was on the screen, so the QR code on the right. And I mean, I think that was the easiest way for me to do. I mean, there are other options how you can add devices, which maybe is applicable for different type of products. But I think for this, the easiest way is to scan. And you have the the view here. So now I'm live. I have some controls for PTZ, which again is not applicable for this product, and I can change the feed resolution. I can change to either show one camera or show 4. There's no 2 option here, and then enable the audio and create snapshot pictures and recordings on the phone as well. And you can do like full screen when it turns to landscape, and it shows the 4 cameras in landscape. And on the bottom you have options for cloud. So there is option for cloud storage, but again, if you don't want to do that, it's absolutely fine. It works without a cloud. I have no cloud subscription either. You have the events whenever it shows you all sorts of detections. But because I haven't set any alert on the app alert, so there is nothing here. But I'm happy that my phone doesn't start pinging whenever somebody is walking past my gate. And yeah, you have some presets and other stuff, which again is for motion activated cameras. And you can see panning, PTZ, calibration, again not applicable for these fixed cameras. And on the top right corner where you have the cogwheel, then you have a lot of settings here. So you can also do most of the settings here from the app. But to be honest, since I have a screen, I can just easily touch and make some quick changes. I never use the application. I mean, it's okay for you viewing footages when you are away from home, but other than that, I would just use the screen. So it is very simple. You just basically, give power to all these 3 units separately, and then and then it's working. You do the match coding, and that I'm going to show you a little bit later, and everything is synced together, and you can see the feeds on the screen, and the recording is working on the SD card. So it's very easy to set up. And I think this pretty much concludes my review of this N-Key WTL300 security, or let's say surveillance system with a built-in screen. If you are interested in this product, I'm going to leave purchasing links down in the video description. But I think that's all going to be for today. Thanks for watching, and hopefully see you in the next one.